This is Electric Universe Geology Earth News. These are the book cliffs. This is Utah over here, Colorado over here. These are the book cliffs with all the oil and the coal. There's Grand Junction. This is where the Gunnison and Colorado rivers meet up. Here's the Green River here. This goes all the way up into Wyoming. I was in Grand Junction trying to get the price. There's a museum here with gigantic skeletons of dinosaurs, allosaurs, similar to T-Rex but bigger, apparently nastier. So I'm driving west on 70, which is down here. Zoom in a couple times. Of course, I missed my turn up here at 191, and I had already been up there, so I kept going west over the San Rafael swell and then west, and then there was a dirt road over here that I could take north to get me up to Price, a little detour. Now, I'm kind of a sucker for detours, so I took it, and there was construction workers. It's pretty cool. Let's see if I can find the road here. Oh, here it is. So I'm going along here, and I asked one of the flag guys who's stopping traffic if there's any petroglyphs, and he says, yeah, right up here there's petroglyphs. There's rocks up here on the cliff that are burned and darkened, I think electrically, and they had fallen down, and the Native Americans had used them to put petroglyphs on them right down here. There's a whole lot of them with a parking lot. I recommend you stop by. And I wanted to be up at the top to see what the cliff looked like. Start driving west, you're on 803, and all of a sudden you're up at the top of the cliff. It's like I got my wish. So now I'm standing there looking at this thing. I get out to see what the cliff looks like, and I have pictures which I'll show you now. So here we are. Here's the top of the cliff up here. This is even more burnt, but you have this layer. And I walked up here, looked around. It's really difficult. It's really slippery. I almost fell a couple times wearing flip-flops because I'm an idiot. And I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing that this looks more damaged than this. The right-hand side seems to have more damage right here than the left side. And it continues all the way down the ridge. And I'm looking at it, and I say to myself, it looks like a seething river of plasma came up the canyon, not down, but up the canyon. I had been reading enough Electric Universe material from Will Thornhill and Don Scott and Mel Atchison to have some feel for plasma and what it might be able to do. So the first thing that pops into my mind is a seething river of plasma came up the canyon. Let me show you some more images. You can see the right side right over here is terribly bubbled, and there's missing material, and it looks burnt. It looks like something heated it and bubbled it. And over here, not so much. This actually reminds me of Zion Canyon and the areas where I think the electrical excavation process ceased. And this is what it looks like when that happens. I have some close-ups of this that we'll look at. But the difference between this and this to me is astounding. And then this right here we'll look at also. I have images of that. Here's another close-up of the right side, and you can see how charred it looks, as if somebody took a blowtorch to it. This image shows the left side. Here it's so nice and smooth. There is damage, and the outside of it seems to have been heated and changed, metamorphosed, although I don't think it's metamorphic, it's just sandstone. But it's been altered. I have other images where I'm looking left to right here. But this to me is very suspicious looking, as if it might have been electricity that cleaned this section off, but wasn't hot enough to melt and blacken it like it did over here. This is the area that reminds me of Zion, with these gouges going in different directions. Some go up, some go down. They go in different directions, just really similar to Zion with these holes in them. Maybe this is long-term erosion, but I think it's short-term electrical erosion personally. I'm prejudiced. This is looking towards the right. This is the area that didn't get zapped as much. But the outside layer is so different than the inside layer. as if whatever came along and bubbled and scorched this actually changed the outside layer. Looks like it melted it, but as it was coming around, it went past this area and just scraped along this area. It didn't hook up directly. So there's less damage here than there is over here. There seems to be directionality, as if the plasma, the seething river of plasma, was coming up the hill. After I had looked at this, I had a memory of Worlds in Collision, which I had not read cover to cover in maybe 6, 7, maybe 10 years. But I remembered Rivers of Fire. 3 or 4 months later, because I'm a lazy slug, I went back and read Worlds in Collision. I should have done it right away, but I'm not very proud of myself sometimes. But I did reread it, and there's all this talk about rivers of fire. And that got my attention because they didn't have words like seething rivers of plasma when these occurrences took place. They had to use the best vocabulary they had at their disposal, which was a river of fire. This fits in nicely with the descriptions from Worlds in Collision. And since this moment, I keep seeing canyons where it appears that seething rivers of fire or plasma came up the canyon, as described in Worlds in Collision. I think that's a factor here. So my life was pretty normal before this moment, before this day when I saw this. Since then, I've been, I guess, clinically obsessed. There's might be a 12-step program I can take, but I don't think so. I don't think there's a cure for this. I suggest going to this place for yourselves. You can do it with the maps that I've provided. Take a look at it and see what you think. Thank you.